Hi, PerspectiveWeather.com meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Friday, October 4th, the coolest night of the season so far, coming to the Mid-Atlantic region, the Northeast U.S., the Great Lakes region. It stays quite cool on Saturday as well, but then as high pressure pushes off the eastern seaboard on Sunday, somewhat warmer air will push back into the northeastern U.S. from the southwest, and there'll be a frontal system approaching late Sunday night and Monday, and that front could cause some decent rainfall for a change in the I-95 corridor region. Again, in the late Sunday night, Monday time frame. Watch for that a decent rain event. Places like D.C., Philadelphia, New York City, and Boston. It looks like another cool air mass follows that frontal system for the Tuesday and Wednesday time frame of next week. Well, here's the latest NOAA weather warnings map that shows plenty of areas throughout the Great Lakes, the Northeast U.S., down all the way down into upstate Pennsylvania with either frost advisory or freeze warnings, and they're all seen right in this region right here. Again, this will be the coolest night so far. Places like the suburbs of Philadelphia should drop down to 40 degrees or so. Same thing in the suburbs of New York City, perhaps the mid-40s down across the D.C. metro region. Winds will stiffen up today out of the north to northwest, and that will usher in the cooler air for later today, and especially in the overnight hours under mostly clear skies, diminishing winds. Temperatures will drop quite rapidly after sunset, again reaching the lowest levels of the season so far by early tomorrow morning in the Mid-Atlantic region, the Northeast, and the Great Lakes. Well, here's the latest surface map across the continental U.S. First of all, one frontal system has already pushed through the D.C., Philadelphia region and is pushing off to the southeast. There's kind of a secondary push of this cooler air, and that will be experienced in a few hours with kind of an increase in the winds. Once that frontal system passes through, the winds will pick up in intensity, again, out of the north to northwest, perhaps gusting up to 25 or 30 miles per hour during the midday and afternoon hours in D.C., Philadelphia, New York City corridor. And then the chilliest air of the season so far pours in behind that secondary front. Again, low temperatures near 40 degrees in Philly, New York City near the 45 degree mark in the D.C. Metro region late tonight, early tomorrow. This high pressure stays in control right through Saturday. Then it'll shift off rather quickly off the northeast coastline during the middle part of the weekend, and that will allow for some warmer air to move in. Not hot by any means, but somewhat warmer air for Sunday and Monday. Unfortunately, with that warm-up will come an increasing chance of rain in the late Sunday night, Monday time frame. Well, let's take a look at last night's 6Z GFS model run. This is the main forecast model put out by NOAA. And first we'll look at the 850 millibar temperature anomalies. That's a couple thousand feet up in the atmosphere, but it gives a good idea what we can expect down at the surface, down at the ground level. Here we are beginning the day on Friday, and here is the cool air mass. Again, the coolest air of the season so far across the Great Lakes, Northeast, Mid-Atlantic region, and that sticks around right through the night and into the day on Saturday. But once that high pressure system moves off the eastern seaboard, we'll see some warmer air first pushing into the Ohio Valley by Sunday morning, and then it turns somewhat milder along the eastern seaboard on Sunday compared to Saturday. Not hot by any means. We're talking about highs in the 70s on Sunday as compared with the 60s on Saturday. There will be a frontal system right in this region right here come Sunday afternoon, and can be a shower or two pretty much anywhere in the Mid-Atlantic region, Northeast U.S. later Sunday afternoon, but the most likely time for a decent rainfall will be later Sunday night into the day on Monday, as this frontal system, which is clearly depicted here with colder air to the north and west and warmer air to the east here by Monday morning. And again, that could become a pretty decent rainfall in the I-95 corridor region from D.C. all the way up to Boston. We're talking about during the day on Monday. Now let's keep pushing forward here. Just want to show that cooler air follows the frontal passage. It turns cooler again, probably highs in the 60s in the big cities Tuesday and Wednesday. But look at it. Let's just kind of quickly move ahead and look at this very cold looking air mass here by the middle part of next week out across the northwestern U.S. and that dives into the heartland. It's a little unclear yet how much of this will work its way into the northeast U.S., but let's keep moving along. This very well could be some kind of record-breaking cold for the middle of the nation, the latter part of next week, and eventually some of that colder air does make its way right here into the mid-Atlantic region, the northeast U.S. Again, we're talking a little bit more than a week away from now. It finally reaches the northeast U.S., this air mass, about a week from Sunday in that time frame. But late next week, we may see some record-breaking cold in the middle part of the U.S. Well, now let's take a look at the surface forecast maps from the 6E GFS model run. Stiffening winds over the next few hours out of the north to northwest could gust up to 25-30 miles per hour in D.C., Philadelphia, New York City. That'll be indicative of that secondary frontal passage, even cooler air moving in behind that, and it sets the stage for the coolest night of the year so far. The winds will die down some in the overnight hours as this high pressure shifts across the southeastern part of Canada. That's kind of a key factor for the chill in the air expected late tonight. Clear skies, diminishing winds, a good setup for temperatures to drop rapidly in the overnight hours, again reaching 40 degrees in Philly, New York City, maybe 45 in D.C. The high pressure remains in control during the day on Saturday, but then quickly shifts off the northeastern seaboard by tomorrow night. That opens the door for somewhat milder air and more moist air to flow into the northeast U.S. for Sunday and Monday. At the same time, the next frontal system will be driving south and east from the Great Lakes region. Here we are by Monday morning. I think this will become a very healthy rain event for the Mid-Atlantic, for the northeast U.S. during the day on Monday. Quite a rarity in recent weeks. We haven't had many significant rain events. This very well could turn into a soaking rain event. Again, we're talking during the day on Monday as this next frontal system slows down upon its approach to the eastern seaboard. Here we are as late as Monday night with a solid area of rain in the I-95 corridor region throughout the Mid-Atlantic and northeast U.S. That finally pushes off by Tuesday. Here we are Tuesday morning. Another cool air mass anchored by strong high pressure comes in for Tuesday and Wednesday, probably highs confined to the 60s in the big cities along the I-95 corridor for Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. So the coolest night so far coming tonight to the Mid-Atlantic, the Great Lakes, and the Northeast U.S. Stays quite cool on Saturday. Bit of a warm-up for Sunday and Monday, but there also could be a decent rain event in the late Sunday night, Monday time frame in the eastern part of the nation. That's it for now. For PerspectiveWeather.com, I'm meteorologist Paul Dorian.